Good morning. Good morning, lovelies. How we doing? What's happening? Back with another episode of Cross Circle. Back up in the chat. How you doing? What's happening? Yes, we are back up. Indeed. How's everyone's day been going? How's everyone's week going? Hope you're all having a nice time. We're about to talk, of course, about video games. Backup says he's doing good. That's great to hear, sir. That is great. Great to hear. Let me know what games you've been playing. You know what I'm saying? What's been popping off on the PlayStation dashboard for you, good sir? Let me know. Is this public? Yeah, this is public. Kevin Mack in the chat. How you doing, my man? How you doing, bro? What's good? What's good? What's popping? Um, so I did try to do this stream on a YouTube live event, so that way you guys are notified of it in your sub boxes. You know what I'm saying? But that clearly did not go to plan, and I don't think it's my fault. I don't think it's my fault, but could very well be my fault. I don't even know. But how's everyone doing? What's happening? I missed y'all. You know what I'm saying? I've been on vacation. I've been out and about. But I miss y'all. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what games you've been playing recently. Well, as of 2 days ago, I finished my entire Borderlands playthrough. What that consists of is Borderlands 1 remaster, Borderlands 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Tales from the Borderlands by Telltale, and the Borderlands 2 DLC that leads straight into Borderlands 3. So I have completed all of those. It took me about a month and a half, but I love Borderlands. It was really really great. But and I need to address something once Christian gets back in the call here about how much I enjoy Tales from the Borderlands, which he says that's his favorite Borderlands content that he's ever played. And now I kind of see why. Like, I'm going to have to agree. You know what I'm saying? But what have you been playing? What else have you been playing? Chat. Oh,
Hello.
is that the boy?
Are you
Is
talking about me or somebody in chat?
talking about you.
Oh, hey.
What what's popping? How you doing? So, I was just telling the stream that I beat my full Borderlands playthrough.
Really? You beat pre-sequel?
I beat 1, 2, pre-sequel, Tales from the Borderlands, and the Borderlands 2 DLC leading up to Borderlands 3.
Nice.
I did all that.
How would you rank them? Quick.
Ooh, rank them. Okay. See, it gets iffy because Tales is such a different experience.
It's the best one, though.
Shut up.
It is.
Listen, I did tell Chad that I had to say something to you, right? And
Yeah.
I will say definitively, obviously, Tales had the best story. Like, I truly love Tales of the Borderlands. Like, God.
Give me writing also. It has the best writing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I just thought, like, man,
Best
Loatherbot
writing,
the
best
whole time,
humor, best story.
like, ugh, the Claptrap Execute DLC. No, the DLC I was talking about was the Fight for Sanctuary, Lilith's Fight for Sanctuary, or whatever it was called, where I guess spoiler. Well, no, I won't spoil anything. Never mind. But it leads gracefully into Borderlands 3. So, but I am debating on picking up what's it called? Stranger Things 3 for the old Switch.
Nice.
However, the reviews are like kind of eh. You know what I'm saying?
I heard it was very similar to that mobile game for the first game. It just redone to be the third season.
Like, I mean, not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah.
I still might pick it up. Back up. You're not safe for the podcast. All right, then. Okay. Have a nice
Speaking
day,
of
sir.
mobile games, though,
Uh-oh.
Dr. Mario World, Addicted.
Yeah, I heard on the Gamescast they were discussing that. I've never heard or seen of Dr. Mario.
It's basically a match 3. It's existed on
Oh
pretty
wait,
much every
is it?
Nintendo console.
So it's like Bejeweled low key.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But I think it's a very fun app. Yeah, I'm probably gonna keep this one longer than I kept any of the other Nintendo mobile games.
Right.
Not counting Pokemon Go, but I like it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting. But
got 3 stars on every world up until World 40 right now.
dang, okay, man, okay.
So, having a blast with it. Liked it a lot.
Yeah, right now I'm a bit empty as to where I should go from this point in terms of
Mm.
games. I kind of want to play Order and the Horizon DLC,
Nice.
but then there's the daunting task of starting the Arkham series.
Correct.
There is that we've discussed.
So, would you like to kick things off?
Like roll the
Or,
intro.
yeah, are you done with banter? Are you good?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Because I have a couple things I want to mention about what you just brought up. So,
Interesting. All right. Overall thoughts on the Borderlands community? It's beautiful. All right, let's go. You ready? With roll this intro. Let's
yeah.
get it. Cheer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 45 of Cross Circle, the official podcast for PlayStation Source. I am your host, Christian Buckley. Joining me is Kevin Diaz. We're back together after a
Greetings.
2-week break, right?
1 week. 1 week.
Well,
because Game Speak podcast was last week.
yes, shout out to that. Good job.
Yeah.
You did a good job hosting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shout out to them.
I was like, huh? But yeah, no, they were. Yeah, I've been friends with them for a while. Really, really cool dudes. Check them out. That was episode number 44 of Cross Circle. Make sure to check out that on the channel. Very good stuff. Definitely enjoyed it. Fun time.
Yeah, so you took a bit of a break. You went on a nice vacation, right?
I did. It was
No
very
gaming in that time?
very nice.
No
No,
Switch?
I was gonna bring my Switch, and then I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna have time for this. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was like, like I don't know if I don't know. Like we had like 8 people with us, so it's like, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to just like go away and play, something. But
Right, yeah.
I was like, yeah, let me just, not. But yeah. So
Yeah.
But did you have a good hiatus from the Cross Circle podcast? I know you were off of 44, obviously, and
Yeah, I had to dog sit last weekend. I thought I was going to have some game time in, but one of the dogs is a puppy, so did not
little
have any
puppy.
time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then throughout the week, been chipping away still at the story mode in Mario Maker 2, having a good time with that.
Right.
Pre-show, I mentioned Dr. Mario World on me mobile device.
You did.
Enjoying that also.
You did.
But what I started a game in March.
Okay.
And I've been playing a little bit of it that I want to discuss as we progress further into this
Okay.
discussion. Because today I want to do something a little different. Past few episodes have been not all over the place, but we've had like very broad-reaching topics.
Right.
We've had discussions, we've had lists, we've had things of that nature. And while today we will be listing some games like we have done in the past on this here program, I want to get super specific because next gen is right around the corner. We are not far away from probably seeing the PlayStation 5. For the sake of discussion, let's just call it the PS5. Don't know what their official name is yet, but the goal from Sony and PlayStation is PlayStation 5 by holiday 2020.
Yeah.
So odds are in the next 6 to 8 months we're seeing this thing.
Indeed. Very much indeed.
And what pairs well, I would say, with reveals of consoles is reveals of games for said consoles. And Sony has done some work, especially in the later years of the PS4 gen, to really procure a great library of awesome story-based games, really solid single-player experiences. While there may be some overlap, which is undeniable in the type of game they present to us, they're usually all quality. So it's been a while since we've gotten some of these games, so I think some of them are due for sequels. And today we're just going to be talking about the games that we hope are ready for day one PS5 launch. If not day one, maybe within the first like 2 months launch window area
What would
of the
you
PS5.
constitute as launch window? Like,
Launch
cause
window at most, um, say it launches in November,
right.
I would say February.
Okay, yeah. I'm kind of the same
So like
ballpark
3 to 4 months is the max for
Okay,
launch
yeah,
window in my
yeah.
eyes.
I would even constitute maybe. Honestly, I think like I mean, I would even constitute like launch window as like before the next E3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see that.
So like that might translate to like maybe like a 6 month window, 5 month window, but around that time, I guess. But I know some people like consider launch window like only like a month, and I'm like, like dude, I love launch windows like only a month, but I
Yeah,
feel that.
I agree. I think launch window is like a very broad term that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But personally, like once you hit like upwards of 5, I'm like that's kind of pushing it. So
Right.
let's say between November 1st, let's for discussion, the
Yeah.
PS5 comes out November 1st. What games do you want to see day one or
Official. You
within the
guys heard it
first
here
couple
first.
months?
You guys heard it here first. No, no, November 1st. PS5 release date.
So we're each gonna throw out a few, have a discussion about the likelihood and what we'd want to see from these games. But I think there's one that I think is a dead set game for launch, and I
Really?
think we can agree on this.
Have we talked about this before? No, right?
We
Have we?
have.
We have. Okay.
We've done a full episode about this game that has not been announced yet.
Wait, what?
I
Are we?
think day one of the PlayStation 5,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I would probably bet on this. We get the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that is such a clear launch title because
Well, yeah. Actually,
2017
yeah.
is when the game came out, right?
Indeed. Indeed.
They got that Decima engine.
Hmm.
I think Kojima Productions is showing the Decima engine can still flex in
Right.
2019. Um, it's still, I would say that what we've seen in game for Death Stranding, some of the stuff, like character wise, looks better than Horizon did for character models.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
they've made progress with that engine.
Yeah.
And since 2017, February, that's when Horizon came out. And, Guerrilla was going back and forth on some projects between Shadowfall and Horizon.
Right.
But Shadowfall was launched PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was a difference of what, 3 years? Or 4 years?
2013 was Shadowfall PS4 launch, so
So about 3.5 years.
about 3.5 years. Yeah, yeah. Because 2017 February 20th was Horizon. I think
Yeah.
February 20th. Yeah. So.
So I think the timeline is likely enough where you would have had about 3 years to make that jump to a sequel.
Right.
I think a lot of the core mechanics of Horizon are solid, and we did, like I said, we did a full episode on what we want out of Horizon 2.
Right.
And for me personally, a lot of it just comes down to improving traversal
Mhm.
and making new designs for monsters and stuff like that, maybe some new areas. But I think it's very realistic to think that within 3 years, ready for day one is the biggest new IP that Sony's had in about a decade.
Yeah, and I think also to like kind of add some more to that notion of it being a launch title, is that like I think Guerrilla Games. I don't know if they've said this publicly, but I feel like they might have a similar notion to like what Santa Monica said about their God of War sequel, where like yeah, it took 5 years to make God of War 2018, but we want to pump out the sequel in like 2-3 years because we know like we like have a nice foundation of like what this game series will be. You know what I'm saying? Like as like and that's in terms of like a technical standpoint, not so much like writing or scripting or whatever, but like in terms of like the actual game as a whole, like the actual game engine. You know what I'm saying? Is like created at that point. So now it's just a matter of just like iterating on it. And
Yes.
I suppose just building it from the ground up, as opposed to Horizon, which clearly was a ground up, their first open world game they've ever done, their first third person game they've ever done, as far as I'm aware. The first game of that type. Now that they've made that type of game, they can do the sequel to that easier because they've already built that foundation for the Horizon potential series. You know what I'm saying? So,
Correct.
yeah,
And I think establishing this also, I think, especially with what they've shown about next gen so far, I think the graphical leap, and we saw this with the PS3 to PS4, it's getting less and less like
Yeah.
impressive.
Hmm.
So I think the selling point and what they've been using as a selling point so far is loading times, speed, processing power, and just efficiency
Right.
as a piece of hardware. So I think Horizon is probably top three best looking games on the PS4.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So I think if you just really want to like crank up that 4K HDR stuff, and like I don't think you need to redesign a lot of the things you have in place for Horizon. Like
Yeah.
Aloy looks realistic enough. All the models, like they could use some like face tuning, to make them a little more expressive. But I think the foundation, like you said with God of War, the foundation is there where if it comes out, if it's like locked 60 frames, no load screens, stuff like that, I think that's still enough of a feeling of next gen where the foundation they have with Horizon is good enough because like we've seen in the past too, like the PS4 launch, the stuff that came out at launch wasn't super impressive,
I'm trying
you
to
know.
think. Like there was Shadowfall. I know Resogun,
It was
which I loved
Middle
Resogun.
Earth also. Middle Earth came out this gen and last gen on release, and that was like game of the year for a lot of people. But it was like something we've seen before. So like
Right.
I feel like launch games usually do get a bit of a pass too for feeling
Yeah.
like a bit cross-genny. But yeah, I think Horizon is a safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I see that. I see that. I'm trying to think also. Like, did we have an open world game for launch? No, we didn't. Infamous Second Son was supposed to be a launch, but got
Got
pushed.
delayed.
Yeah, it got pushed like a few months out to March. I think it was, or May or whatever. No, I think it was March. So, yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? Do you think Horizon is a realistic bet?
I think it's realistic, but I could also see it just not coming out like launch day one, and I could totally see them pushing it, but at the same time, like I don't really see that. I think it will hit a day one on PS5, and I think like that'd be a good, uh, kind of title to put up there, even though. They only have one game in the Horizon series, if we're even calling it a series, because it's literally only one game. But Horizon Zero Dawn did so well,
Hmm.
critically and commercially as well,
Yeah.
that I feel like this is a good way to kind of push that even more and have it as like the marquee, or at least one of the marquee titles for like the launch of the new gen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
And I
think,
think
yeah,
I was gonna say I think also technically with what we saw as a like showpiece for what the PS4 can do, I think those environments, those landscapes, and those colors would just be a great way to show off the power of the PS5.
right, yeah, 100%, I
I
agree.
think Horizon's a very good choice. Like Horizon 2, I feel like just from everything we know about Horizon so far, all the experiences we've walked away with that game, and the things we want to see out of it, I feel like that would really just deliver so well and so like hit so hard being there day one.
Hmm. Horizon
But
One Dawn.
yeah, does it go
God.
from 0 to 1 or 0 to 2?
Horizon 2 Dawn.
Horizon midday,
Horizon
Horizon dusk.
Horizon Twilight. Like,
Ooh, that's a good name.
wait, honestly, Horizon Twilight sounds pretty dope. I'm not even gonna lie. You love to see it. Well, you hit my line yesterday while I was at work. You know what I'm saying? You were like, "Hey, what games would you like to see for a PS5 launch?" Right? And I was thinking a lot about Horizon New Dawn.
It's a good one.
Kevin, I like that. Anyway, and I was recalling the PS4 launch, right? Very excited for PS4, got a day one, right? And I was attracted to a game called Resogun by Housemark. I'm sure you've played it. I have it on my Vita as well. I play it more on my Vita these days, my PS4. But I'll just pop in and out whenever. Very, very fun. Arcade type shooter, whatever. So I was thinking, like, all right, that game represented, like, just a fun game, right? And I feel like one of the most, like, fun games I've played in the PS4 was Ratchet and Clank, right? And so I think that's what I would really want for PS5. And I don't know how logistically this would work if Insomniac were to come out with a Ratchet and Clank for PS5 launch. You know,
Mhm.
like I don't know how their studio is set up. I don't know if they have like a 2 team thing going on where like maybe while they were wrapping up Spider-Man, they started Ratchet and Clank for PS5 and they have that going in the background with Spider-Man 2 obviously being made. That's been confirmed. Like they have scripts going for the Spider-Man 2 sequel, you know?
Yeah.
So cuz like I definitely don't see Spider-Man 2 being a launch PS5 even though that would be dope. I don't see it. I see maybe like year one and a half for like
I
Spider-Man,
think,
you know?
yeah. So when we did our discussions about Spider-Man, I thought it would be super easy for them to make a sequel with the same Manhattan
Yeah.
because like it's Manhattan, you know,
Right.
like you could easily like flesh out Manhattan more to make it
Mhm.
even more one to one, but I personally would have been okay if it was the same Manhattan, new story, new things to do,
Right.
like we saw with the DLC. The further we get away from Spider-Man, and the less we're hearing about a Spider-Man 2, makes me think that they're gonna do something, not to reinvent it, but like a big step up for the sequel.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm doubting it's ready for launch. I think for some, like my gut is telling me it's like the big year two game to like
Yeah.
really push those people that like
Or like on the edge or like still on
yeah,
PS4. Right. They're
yeah,
like, hey,
because I
like you
think
gotta
year
get it.
two for a console is like super important. Um, where like I thought the Switch had like a kind of okay second year, but clearly is still selling very well because
Right.
of the nature of the console. But like the Xbox One had an all right first year because it had COD with it with like the bonuses and stuff. But
Mhm.
year two was like pretty dry for that system. Um, I like they had Halo in year two. It was still even not that great for them. No,
Hey,
sorry, that was year three. But
wait.
yeah, I think year two is super important.
I didn't know Halo came out in the year 3 of Xbox One. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was 2015
I thought
was
it
year
was a
three.
year 1. Wow, I'm an idiot. Okay, interesting.
Well, technically it's within year two, but it is the third calendar year of it being out.
Right. Oh, okay. I
Because
see. I see.
Halo came out in 2015, it launched in 2013.
Right.
Um,
Well, then I guess
so it would be year two of the console's life. Then, yeah, you're right.
yeah. I don't know. I totally forgot. But I guess the main
So
question, like, like, do you see a Ratchet and Clank coming out for launch on PS5? Like, can you see a future where that happens?
I can because Insomniac has multiple teams. I don't know how many teams,
Right.
but I do know that they have the yeah, video games do use fiscal year. I
Yeah,
was
that is true.
that's confusing in my head. Um, so I think so. Insomniac has the Spider-Man team. Let's just call them that.
Okay.
And then I know they have a pretty deep or like a pretty cool game being worked on for Oculus. I forget what the name of it is,
Mm.
but there's a VR title being worked on at Insomniac. I don't know how large that team is,
Right.
but they're not like foreign to having multiple teams going at once.
Yeah.
And the scope of Ratchet and Clank, that remake of the original, I think was focused enough where it was a remake of the original that they could do either a follow up to that or remake the second Ratchet and Clank game in the same style or just make a completely new adventure with those characters.
Right.
I think it's very likely that they might want to cool off from Spider-Man 2, but like we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They may have orders to be like all hands on deck for Spider-Man 2 right now.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, and if they do have enough staff, I think Ratchet 2 or the next Ratchet feels like a good bet.
Cause also what Ratchet and Clank was 2015, right? So it's already been 4 years. To be
Was it
fair,
2015 or 2016?
it could have been 2016. I forgot. Here, let me. 2015 is in my head, but let me see.
So, because 2015 March, again, year two of the PS5, sorry, PS4.
It was 2016. It was April
Right,
12th.
because I
2016.
remember,
My bad.
you say February?
It was April. April
Okay.
16th, 2016.
Yeah, because I think that was the big game for then. Because the bigger game for year two of that time was Bloodborne. And again, talking about like having a big game for year two of the console, that was it.
Well, I know. Yeah, like I know we're still on Ratchet and Clank, but like just to mention Bloodborne, like Bloodborne 2 has been brought up in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I don't
See,
know.
I
I
I
don't. I
could
don't. Uh, like I
but
don't.
I don't think launch.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah. I don't see launch, but I just see them like leaning more towards like a Sekiro sequel than a Bloodborne sequel. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird though because From Software has a history of just doing one-off games.
They do.
Um, yeah, because so they did Demon Souls, which is a PS3 exclusive, kind
Right.
of tanked. That the ideas there eventually turned into the Dark Souls series. Um,
Oh, okay. I see.
and then they did Bloodborne, which again was another PlayStation exclusive.
Mm.
Did super well. A lot of people's favorite in their library. And then they did Dark Souls 3 after that, and then Sekiro. Now, Great Rune with George R. R. Martin.
Hmm.
So they bounce off projects a lot. So I could see them, if not Bloodborne 2, doing another Sony exclusive.
Like another just standalone like game.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
I could
Gotcha.
see something like that.
Right. I see.
But as far as Ratchet and Clank goes, I think that's a good decision because you do want to have a game like that available early on. You know.
Yeah. I I mean we talked when I was playing through it last summer. And it was and I played that right after Last of Us. I played Last of Us, obviously heavy fucking game, very serious, whatever. So I just wanted like a nice like chill out game that was still fun. And Ratchet and Clank was that. It was such a just relaxing, just natively just fun game, you know. So I
Yeah,
would love to see
Ratchet and
that again.
Clank is
Yeah,
very good.
yeah,
And it's kind of the last survivor of those PS2 mascots. Like it was Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jack and Daxter.
yeah,
Uh, Sucker Punch, who did Sly, and Naughty Dog, who did Jack and Daxter, obviously have gone on to do different things.
yeah,
But it's cool that Insomniac keeps up with their PS2 mascot.
yeah, yeah.
Like they're not still doing Spyro. Like
Right.
they moved on from their PS1, but the PS2,
It's
and
still
I
there.
think Ratchet had a great PS3 run. I would love to see him come back again on PS5.
Absolutely. The
Um,
Go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead, sir. My bad. Go ahead.
I was gonna move on.
I was gonna toss it on to you to move on. We
Okay.
suck at segues here.
Um, so I mentioned at the beginning of the show, there's a game I've been playing through right now.
You did.
Started in March. Uh, didn't have a ton of time to put into it because school. I've been playing it probably almost every day for the last week because I want to platinum it. Platinum the first one in the fall. Batman Arkham City is a 10 out of 10. It is so good. God, how damn good this game is. I always used to say Asylum was my favorite out of the three, but I played Asylum last fall, platinumed it. There was a day, probably like 3 days ago,
Okay.
I was playing through City. I was probably like a third of the way done, and I was like, man, this is a 10. This is just clearly the best one out of these three.
Right.
I don't know what I was thinking with Asylum. Like, Asylum is still really good, but City is just perfect. Like, Arkham City is a perfect video game.
Wow.
The reason I'm saying this is because
Wow.
Arkham Knight
Right.
came out in 2015.
Indeed.
Had a blast with it. I love Arkham Knight. I like it a lot more than I feel like most people do. But since 2016, with Arkham VR, Rocksteady has been pretty silent.
Very
You know?
silent. Very silent.
Yeah, there's been rumors. There's been tons of rumors, tons of speculation.
A lot of things.
Uh,
It's interesting how like there's so many rumors of what like there have been like what 4 or 5 different things. Like it's very weird. You know what I'm saying?
I will put money on saying it's definitely a DC property.
Oh, absolutely. Just which one? Like we will
Exactly.
like there's so many. Like
So
it's so odd.
if you asked me, probably 2016. So a year out of Arkham Knight.
Okay.
Do you want to see another Rocksteady Batman? I would have been like, no, please, no, please just do something else. But playing Arkham City after this gap of like what 4 years at this point, I'm so ready for another Batman game. Like I know Batman can get like tired of like, oh, another Batman thing. There's like 6 Joker movies they're working on. There's a Batman reboot. There's so much Batman in pop culture, but these games are so good
Right.
that I think whatever they're working on at this point I hope they're saving it for PS5, and I think they're saving it for next gen. I don't think they want to put themselves in a scenario like the Square Enix Avengers game, where Avengers, I still think looks good. I'm excited for Avengers, but it's coming out a couple months before next gen, so there's gonna be some sort of hiccups there, with like the
Yeah,
cross saves or
yeah.
the PS5 version of the game
Do you think
transferring progress.
you'll wait to play that for PS5, even
I
though
don't
like
know.
all the PS4 games will be cross combat and all that
Yeah,
stuff like.
I really don't know. Like
Hmm.
maybe I get it day one for the story if the performance is fine, and then I
Yeah,
just wait to do the online stuff for
until
PS5.
PS5, right? Okay, I see. I see.
Maybe I'm not
Yeah,
sure yet,
I see.
but at this point, I really hope Rocksteady's not just like waiting on July 2020 to pop out a new game. It's like, come on, just wait a little longer. Um, so as far as like guessing what the game is, like I said, would love a new Batman. If they want to keep it in this canon, maybe do like 20 years after the end of Arkham Knight, do Batman Beyond, like kind of a cyberpunky, more tech-based superhero version of Batman, because Batman Beyond is really cool,
Very
gothic
interesting.
punk. Um, I think they could do a really cool version of that game or that property in this series. But if it's not that, I think it would be very interesting, again, going off of rumors, if close to launch for PS5, Rocksteady has a Justice League game that is everything that the Avengers game is talking about wanting to be, but it just like blows it out of the water.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think waiting for
Huh.
PS5, it might be a benefit if they're doing a similar sort of game, which the rumors seem to imply. And if
Or
you're not familiar,
yeah, I'm not familiar with the yeah.
Jason Schreier has like backed up the rumors that like, hey, yeah, there is a multiplayer component. Um, like open environments, there's a lot of variety in character customization, stuff like that. But it's like nobody can pin down like what the property is. It's either like Suicide Squad or Justice League or DC villains. We
Right.
just know it's
Okay.
not Superman. So
Interesting. Interesting. Man, what if wow, can you imagine if they put out like okay, let's say like hypothetically here like Avengers like flops. Just like shit,
I
right?
think it's gonna sell well, but like
Yeah.
receptively, I think it's gonna be like either
Oh,
way.
no, I 100% agree. Like I don't see a future where Avengers doesn't do well commercially, but like critically, I think it'd easily be like a flop and just shit the bed, maybe. But what if damn, they have a Justice
because
League game that like does it better than what the Avengers is trying to do at least. That'd be quite
because
interesting.
when we talked about Avengers and we talked about multiplayer MMO Avengers,
Right.
I was like, take the gear system and the loot progression of the Injustice series,
Uh-huh.
where you get to customize your hero to make them look the way you want to. Take that, apply it into a Destiny game loop, third person, and then that'd be amazing for me.
Right.
But Rocksteady has real good combat in Batman, like especially in Arkham City. The combat in Arkham City, it's a lot of people say it's just mashing square and like timing things at the right time for parrying, but it like the way the combo system works, the variety of enemies, and the tool set you can like gain over time as Batman is just it feels so good. So if they can manage to make like six heroes, the Justice League, feel that good
Right.
and have a cool story, because a lot of the Arkham games have great stories, and have a kick-ass online component, I think it would be just like chef kiss, like amazing.
I don't know what to play next. Like, do I jump into Arkham, dude? Do I just do it?
I Arkham is one of the best gaming trilogies I've ever played. I
My
really want to play Origins. I think I might do Origins after I finish
Oh,
City.
you haven't played Origins.
No, because the thing is, Origins came out at a
Oh.
horrible time, and I think that's when my PS3 broke.
Oh, cuz
I don't remember.
friend of the show, friend of the channel, Billy, as you know, to Real Deathly, you know what
Yes.
I'm saying? He claims Origins is his favorite out of all of
Yeah, I've
them.
heard a lot of people say great
Yeah.
things about Origins.
Yeah, he says Origins is his favorite out of all the and I know, at least I'm aware that's a pretty unpopular opinion because I know that was made by Warner Brothers and not by
WB in
Rocksteady.
Montreal.
Sorry, yeah, Warner Bros. Montreal. My bad. Yeah. But
So to put a little pin on this whole Arkham conversation, I think if Rocksteady has been taking this time to
Right.
really flesh out a next gen experience, very ambitious, like the rumors say, and it is the Justice League game to the Square Enix Avengers game, I think year one would be a realistic thing for it.
Yeah.
If not, if they still need more time to cook, a successor for the WB Montreal Arkham Origins, like a sequel to that, would
Mm.
also be welcome. I'd
Right.
be happy with that. But I think we get a pretty substantial DC game, if not at launch, year one.
Yeah. 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 And you gotta imagine too, like how they've been so like heads down, not giving details, not talking about it at all for this long. It's got to be a big deal. Like something's it's got to be big. You know.
Yeah.
It's got to be something big.
Yeah, because like they could have been taking all this time to make multiple cities. They could be making like
Yeah.
because if you have those very distinct characters, if you have to like make full skill trees and full Arkham scale progression systems for Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Superman, it's gonna take time.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. But so the opposition of me playing Arkham, right, is bumming, not bumming, excuse me, bum rushing. Well, not whatever. Through another game that I know is short. It's about 6 7 hours long. I've heard. You know what I'm saying? It's a little game called Order 1886, right? And again, you all probably know. If you don't know, I tried to play it a few years back, and it just wasn't clicking with me. I got in. I want to say 2 hours. I want to say I got maybe two, maybe like an hour and a half in. It just I don't know if it wasn't the time, just was not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to go back to it and just play through it just one sitting, just once to do it. It's only 6 hours. I can do that. That's fine on like a day off. I It might be tomorrow. Who knows? But you know, I do want to give it a fair shake again because I know like a lot of people definitely do enjoy that game, even in spite of its issues and stuff like that and its shortcomings, whatever. But I at least want to give it its fair shake because I feel like from the people that love 1886, I think in 1887 or the sequel to whatever they would call it, um, would would do well for day one, you know. And I think it could also show off like it could be like kind of in a because I don't think we're gonna get a GT launch date, right? Like I'm pretty sure GT isn't coming out day one.
like
You
Gran
know,
Turismo.
yeah.
Okay,
To have like a
I wasn't.
racing game to like show off. You know, there may be like a third party EA Need for Speed, whatever. But like, um, I think if they put out like an order game, I think that could show off. That could be the game that replaces the need and like the main kind of example for showing off the console's graphics, you know, and have that be kind of order of like showing off like the how powerful the PS5 is in terms of like a graphics standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Obviously not one to one, but I think order one of its biggest praises is that it looks beautiful, right? I mean, yeah. So, um, but and then like another thing too, it was about 6 months ago. I think it was around Christmas time. Um, PlayStation sent Ready at Dawn a recreation of the oh my god, what's it called? The like rifle in the game. It's a famous name. God.
Tesla thing?
Tesla. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, you know, to for Sony and PlayStation to send that studio that, right? Obviously it could be just, you know, hey, thanks for making that game, all that, whatever. But I think that could also be lending to them no and them like doubling down on this studio being the home for that game and kind of could be telling of like they could be working on the sequel, you know. But who knows?
So,
Who knows?
as someone who one of my 20 platinums is the Order 1886.
I also got my
I
first platinum. I forgot to tell you.
Oh yeah,
I
Tails,
did.
right?
I did. I was like,
That's
wait, that's a weird icon. I'm like, is that a platinum? What is this? And I checked, I'm like, holy shit, it's a platinum. Very, very interesting. You know what? Honestly, I was wanting to save my first platinum for a very special game, but I'll give it to Tails. You know what I'm saying? I will give it to Tails. Great game.
so um Yeah, so as somebody who platinumed the order,
Right.
I am gonna counter one of the things you said
Mm.
because I think the biggest problem with the order and why it was received the way it was because of how early it came out in the PS4 life cycle.
Really?
I think if that game came out after Uncharted 4, like after we got our big, like arguably the first big, because like Bloodborne has a more of a niche audience, but like after the first big PlayStation single player exclusive game,
Yeah, definitely Uncharted.
if it came out after that, I feel like it would have been received better because at the PS4 launch, we didn't have a PlayStation third person over the shoulder story narrative based game yet, like everybody likes to be like Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We didn't have one of those yet. And there was a lot of pressure on the order to deliver that experience. I think the order is so cool because of the way it presents its world. Like, it deals with the Knights of the Round Table and myths that you're like casually familiar with, but done in a very unique way.
Right.
And it's very tight. It feels like an awesome miniseries with just some really like okay serviceable combat in between, some really cool set pieces. And I think if you try to expand on that too much, you might lose some of that tightness of the order. Where I think maintaining that tightness and maintaining that really like solid play in a couple nights experience coming out at launch again, I feel like might hurt it.
Mm.
But regardless, I would love to see a sequel because I'm not going to spoil it, but that game ends on like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. That like the ending is like definitely, you know, needing a sequel or some sort of a continuation of that story. Would you call it 1887? Is that what
The
you
thing
want, or
is,
like
I
is like
don't know because you have an interesting thing here where you could tackle it like Assassin's Creed, where you just pick up with this Knights of the Round Table society at
right?
different points in time,
Okay.
but with the character you have as the lead, the player character,
Mm-hmm.
where his story leaves off, it is like sequel bait. It's like it is just
Sequel bait.
being like next time on, like
Yeah.
it seems like it's waiting to pick up that thread.
Right.
So if they wanted to get a fresh start on it and then maybe do what you're saying and like really flesh it out, make it more in line with a God of War or a Last of Us or Uncharted as far as the scope goes,
Right.
maybe they want to pick a different time period to pick up with this type of world. But it would be cool to see where that guy's story goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it deserves a sequel. Well, I just think it would be good.
I would be
I
excited for
think.
it, and I would get the sequel probably day
Yeah.
one
Yeah. Yeah. Even though,
because I really had
yeah.
a blast with my
Right.
time with it.
I'm gonna play through it. I'll let y'all know how I enjoy it. I'll let you know. I'll definitely play through it.
Very
But
cool.
what is the next playthrough of a game that you want to play on PS5, good sir?
The next playthrough I want to do.
I'm at like
Uh,
next game. The Segways are not doing it today, but
See, this is where I'm a little conflicted
mm. Are you stuck between two
because
games?
no, I'm stuck with trying to pick a game
Interesting. Mm.
because I really think Horizon's a lock.
Right.
I think playing through Batman and just all the smoke about it makes sense, but it's strange because like I don't want to say Ghost of Tsushima because I feel like
No.
that's
I don't even.
not
Man,
obvious, but like kind of up in the air, you know?
is it? Yeah. Wait. Yeah, that's something that we haven't even talked about really. Which there has been a lot of news to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, but could that be a PS5 launch? I guess technically
At this
yes.
point,
I guess technically I definitely see it, but
yeah,
hmm,
like at this point, I feel like it might be because
which is interesting because I don't see it as a launch style. But okay, I don't know.
well,
I don't know. I don't
Second
know.
Son was also a launch title, and it's like
Very true.
I,
Well, I mean, it wasn't.
like
I mean,
launch
launch
window, but
window. Yeah, yeah.
because like think about it this way: if the game we know,
Right.
Last of Us Part Two,
Indeed.
presumably coming out in the first 4 months of next year.
Yeah.
Do you put another huge PlayStation title in the summer, or do you wait for launch of PS5?
When you put it like that, yes, you would put it out in the fall of PS5. Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
Death Stranding's this fall.
Indeed.
I don't think they would just randomly be like, "Oh, Tsushima's coming out in December." Like,
By the way, guys.
yeah, like it's just hard to nail down. Like, I could totally see that. Like, if they're full, like very very confident in the quality of Tsushima, maybe that gets the Last of Us treatment of like, yeah, May, June, it's the swan song, it's the final one. And then if Horizon's ready, that's the launch title for PS5. I don't know. I feel like it's a safer bet to launch a new system with a sequel to Horizon than with a brand new IP. Personally, like I know some people are really excited about the idea of new IP on new hardware,
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. Like Tsushima puzzles
Yeah.
me.
It's super. Yeah. Where does Tsushima land? Or does Tsushima take the Horizon 2 spot as being like the PlayStation exclusive to be day one on PS5, and then Horizon Zero Two gets the Second Son PS4 slot of being in like a March, around February where they originally launched Horizon. Something like that. I could possibly, that could be a thing. I could I could see that, considering
Yeah.
that we've already seen Ghost of Tsushima and we've not seen Horizon 2. you know,
Yeah.
so I could see that. But another one that we forgot to mention, I guess this could be like our last one that we bring up, is whatever the new studio in San Diego is working on, the new
Correct.
PlayStation studio in San Diego, which we don't even have a name for. We haven't
Yeah.
heard mentioned official. Well, we have job listings, of course, like we like know it's a thing, but it hasn't been talked about of what they're working on in terms of like games and projects and stuff like that. And the last big rumor that we got was it's another Uncharted. It's like a Uncharted studio. Well, not Uncharted studio, but like they're working on Uncharted. You know,
Yes.
and Naughty Dog stepping back from Uncharted.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I know we've had discussions about this in the past. I think I don't think the Uncharted name can only be done well from Naughty Dog. I think
Right.
Uncharted could be done well from a variety of different people because Uncharted, when I think of Uncharted at this point even, I don't necessarily just think of Nathan Drake. I just think of adventure, real fun story,
Mm-hmm.
awesome set pieces,
Absolutely.
blast to play, and cool characters.
Yeah.
So I think, and like we've seen other people tackle Uncharted before. There was the Sony Ben game
Yep.
that a lot of people like more than the first Uncharted game.
Oh, I do. 100%. Golden Abyss
Yeah,
is better than Uncharted 1, and that's facts. I'm sorry. But, and then also we got like an Uncharted with not Nathan Drake in it.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So I think it's safe to say that, especially if that movie does well,
yeah.
in the next 5 years we do have a new Uncharted.
Yeah. Yeah. I just,
Um,
and like, I don't see PlayStation and Sony stepping back from Uncharted, even though
oh no, no,
uh,
no,
uh,
no.
Uncharted 4 was the end of, Drake's story. I think like this is why they had this new studio and why they are looking to keep up Uncharted, even though it's not from Naughty Dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And like, who knows how that'll go? I
Mhm.
think there is a chance that it could be bad, but I think it's unlikely that it'll be bad, just because Uncharted, like you said, like it is a
It's not about the gameplay.
yeah, it's kind of, you can see an Uncharted game and like think of one. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
By pretty much like well, not any studio, but like it's a thing that can be done from
Yeah.
not just Naughty Dog, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I guess you know what I'm saying, and we've have that proven.
Yeah,
With
and I very recently on our Discord I had a conversation with Starks. I was saying that
shout out to Starks boy, shout out.
I think if the story of Uncharted wasn't as fun as it was, especially that first game, if that story was not as great, I think I could see it being like a 7 out of 10,
Yeah.
maybe a high 6, because
Well,
like the gameplay and the moment to moment gameplay of Uncharted is not unique. It's just the way like the positions they put you in. It's just monster closets, but it's like what's happening around you is what makes it cool.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's an exclusive Naughty Dog thing, because other games have done that since then. Um, Whereas something like The Last of Us, I feel like is much more tied to Naughty Dog because it's so focused on those characters. Where Uncharted is like ensemble cast, lots of different people,
Right.
people coming in and out. If they did an Uncharted from the studio, though, like if we want to talk dreams, make it Sully when he was like Drake's age.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Make him
they.
fight Nazis or something. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
I was thinking just like knee jerk. It's Sully and Sam, and what they go off and do after Uncharted 4. You know,
Mhm.
like maybe,
See,
but I don't know.
I feel like if they wanted to do something with that thread, they'd wait. Because I feel
Really?
like,
Okay.
and I know this is just turning into an Uncharted discussion, we can move on, but
Right.
um, I think like Kratos style, if you want to do like a reveal for the future of that series a few years from now, I think if you save that, it has more weight. Where if you explore more Chloe stuff or more Sully stuff when he was younger, or fleshing out the supporting cast of Uncharted, I feel like that's a good way to keep the feeling of Uncharted and the name of Uncharted in a good light and in the public eye still. And then if you want to do an Uncharted 5,
Right.
then you have more of a oh my god
Or
moment.
or hear
Hmm?
me out. Right. We we get Nolan North. Right. We're like, listen, son. Not son, but man. You gotta start smoking a lot more than you already do. I don't know if you smoke cigarettes, but smoke a lot more, right? We're gonna need you to do that. We'll come call you in 15 years, okay? Because you need to age a little bit, right? Then we get Uncharted 5, right? Can you recall the God of War reveal, right? Where we have Atreus outside, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. Now swap that with the daughter, right? She's probably like a little bit older, you know what I'm saying? And then she walks into the house, old man Nathan Drake.
See, that's what I was
Raspy
saying. I just
voice,
didn't want
yeah.
to say that part of it
Ah.
because spoilers. But
Well, I mean, you know.
I know. Um, yeah.
But yeah,
So I
that'd be
I
dope.
think something like a new Uncharted game isn't out of the question. Don't know if it'd be a launch
Oh,
title,
no way.
but I at least expect to see what that studio is working on around the time of PS5 news.
Yeah, if we don't know what they're working on by the time PS5 comes out, I'll be shocked because I'm like, man, what's going on?
I got one last thing
Mm, give it to
that
me.
I thought of earlier, but I didn't know if I wanted to bring up. So, Bluepoint Games
Interesting studio to bring up.
are, yes, they are notable for reimagining some fan favorites. They did the very excellent Nathan Drake collection
Hmm.
that I feel like made the first game better. Um, so they did the Nathan Drake collection. They also did Shadow of the Colossus, which is one of the best games of all time. They did a remake of that and just made it even better. Brought it to modern standards, made it look very pretty. And they've kept saying since Shadow of the Colossus, their next game is the biggest game they've done.
Right.
It's not an original game, but it is the biggest game project they've worked on.
Okay.
And the rumor is, like I mentioned earlier, Demon Souls.
Mm.
A ground up reimagining remake. Don't know how much From Software would be involved, but a reimagining of the game that kicked off the Souls craze. Because from what I'm aware of Demon Souls, it was very ambitious. There were some wild systems in there. It was one of the first asymmetrical, or not even asymmetrical, it's not the right term. There was this moment in the game where you reach a boss
Right.
in like your line of bosses in the game, and the boss is just another player at that same point as you, and you have to beat them.
I didn't even know. Wow.
They just spit it into your game. Like it was crazy ambitious. There was this thing called like World Tendency, which they kind of like picked up on in Sekiro, where decisions you make can like make the world like decay and like have harder enemies or things like that that vary based on your performance as a player. Um, and it was, like I said, it pioneered the Souls-like genre because it was Demon Souls. It was the first Souls game. So a lot of people think that's what Bluepoint's working on. I think that if you want that Bloodborne-like experience, if you want that From Software exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think Demon Souls makes sense as a remaster remake thing, and it would be another way to vary the launch lineup.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Shadow is what, 2018?
Shadow.
I think the remake of Shadow of the Colossus is 2018.
2018 sounds right. Wait, was it
So
last year?
yeah, it's been by the
Wow.
time PS5 comes out, it
It
would have
seems
been two
longer than
years.
last year, but all right.
Yeah, so like 2 years is a little shorter, but like if they're not, I said ground up, but if they're not doing ground up, if they're just fixing things and making it look nicer, who knows? I think it could be a solid thing to have at launch.
Yeah, I see. I see.
Also another exclusive.
You're right. It is.
So
Very much so. Indeed. PS5 launch styles. Mm-mm-mm.
do you have any more, or is that
I'm
it?
trying to think of anything that I could think of.
Because I
Honestly,
do have a question I want to answer in the chat once we're done.
bring back Wipeout. Bring back
Yeah, I
Ridge
think a
Racer.
lot of those make sense for launch. Like I think
Yeah.
Wipeout is solid. I think, like you said, Housemark. I think a new Housemark game.
Yeah.
Pretty likely.
Yeah.
Um,
I see that.
the obvious like games as a service games are probably going to be there day one, like
Yeah.
Fortnite, Warframe.
I think it makes it also interesting to the fact that like, not that we've never had a console gen start with backwards compatibility. Obviously, that was a thing that happened before, but I wonder how that will kind of shake up how they view launch titles
Yeah,
in terms of like, hey, like maybe we don't have to put, not that they would put lackluster stuff, but like as much effort and attention to launch styles because everyone that buys a PS5 can play their PS4 games. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I don't know how that'll affect it or even if it will affect it, but I could
I
see
mean,
that possibly being something that they're factoring in.
if that's the scenario for me personally, I think I'd probably wait for a PS5 purchase
Mm. Yeah.
because if the selling point is like, hey, you can play your PS4 games on this thing day one, and like maybe we have a couple indie games and like one big AAA third party game, but
Right.
like if the selling point is like, hey, you can play Death Stranding on it again, it's like
Hey.
I'll just wait until there's something I can't play on my PS4 that I really want,
You can
like
play-
a Horizon 2 or Spider-Man 2 or Justice League, because I'm not super dead set on getting rid of or like packing up my PS4.
Yeah.
Like I still think if they wanted to wait another year or two even, I think I'd be fine, but I think launch lineup for me is going to be important
100%. Yeah.
because I was thinking about this the other day. I don't think I've ever, at least like with my own money and in my own memory of buying things as a person who has money,
Right.
I don't think I've ever bought a console day one.
Mm.
I think I may have gotten my GameCube close to launch as a kid, maybe, but that was like Christmas of the year of, maybe, because I don't even remember when that launched. But like handhelds, I don't think I've ever got day one. Switch, I got year one. PlayStation 4, I got 2014 with a GTA port.
Gotcha.
So,
I'm trying to think. Vita, I got day one.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, I am so sick and tired of this Vita slander. Anyway.
I mean, hey, now you got a Switch Lite. You can just really put that Vita to rest. It's the exact same thing, but just better.
Wow.
It doesn't have an Uncharted on it, but it's got Breath of the Wild. So.
The Vita will never leave my backpack until I die. Anyway, PS4, I got the first week. It wasn't launch day, if I remember correctly, because I know I got it on Black Friday that year, and I believe the PS4 launched a week prior. I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Could have been the same day as Black Friday, but that was when I got my PS4. Excuse me. So, yeah, I don't know. Checking up. I mean, right now I'm dead set on getting PS5 day one. Pre-orders up, I'm gonna get it. Like that's
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Very very interesting. But I guess we'll see what the launch titles are. Maybe we'll get a PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale port.
Yeah, and I do think two last things I want to shout out. One, I think we could probably see that Predator multiplayer game maybe around then
Right.
that got announced. And two, you made me think of this. I could definitely see them promoting backwards compatibility and being like, hey, if you subscribe to this service, you can download almost like what a selection of games from PS1, 2, 3, and 4 day one. And I think like maybe they could view that as enough, but for me that wouldn't be enough to upgrade day
Yeah.
one.
I I think it's nice. I don't think it's enough to maybe go buy the console. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. So I definitely feel you on that. Like it's a nice thing to have, obviously. But
Like once they announce the backwards compatibility details, I'm
right.
gonna start gathering a collection of PS3 and PS2 games. But
Yeah.
like, um, yeah, that wouldn't be enough for me for day one.
Right.
So.
Right. Right.
But that is gonna do it for our discussion about the PS5 launch titles we want to see. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Obviously, the chat was very active today, popping off with some recommendations. I saw someone shout out a Bungie game. Horizon, we were talking about Bloodborne 2, Ratchet and Clank. Clearly, lots of crossover with our thoughts in the communities. But specifically, I want to address Isaiah Coleman's question.
Mm.
Do you think that Spider-Man PS4 is better than the Batman games?
Interesting question.
Um,
As I have not played the Batman game, I cannot comment.
so I don't know, because like Spider-Man is like, I think the Arkham Batman and Spider-Man PS4 are both my favorite versions of those characters. But it's a hard decision. Arkham City is just so good, and I think Spider-Man may get the edge because of the traversal, but the story in the Arkham games, especially City, blows Spider-Man out of the water.
Really?
The story in Arkham City is, I'm not exaggerating, a 10
Okay.
out of 10.
Oh,
And the story in
dude.
Spider-Man, we talked.
Yeah,
High eight.
yeah.
Yeah.
We know about the story. Yeah, like high 8. Yeah, mid high 8. Yeah, but
That's my thoughts on it. I am hopeful that you play it soon so we can have a good chat about the Arkham games because they're good games. But
I will
until
definitely
then,
get to it. I'll definitely get to it.
if people want to follow you on what you decide to play next, where can they follow your?
They can follow me right here below on my lower third at the KDS123. Follow me on Twitter. You might see my impressions on Batman this week. Order 1886. Wow. Order 1886. That, Are we going to stream it? I know I said that a lot, but maybe, perhaps, you never know. And
Batman.
Huh?
I said I'd love to see you stream Batman. That'd be cool.
We'll see. We might have to make that happen. I don't know. But also, yeah, you can follow me on there for all those opinions and, my right now re-sparked obsession with Jaden Smith. Shout out to him. And yeah, that's that. There we go.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. Here every week on Mondays. Check out our Discords in the description as well as the link to our Twitter and podcast services where you can listen to the audio feeds of this show.
And
Road to Part 2.
Road to Part 2 as well. Yep.
Yeah. I was only thinking of Slave Slot, but I knew that wasn't on there. And youtube.com/joyclicks and podcast services. Today was the final episode of Excelsior, my Marvel podcast that I have done over the past few months.
Wait.
That was a good one.
R.I.P.
So shout out to that. But until next time, as always, greatness awaits.
Yeah.